let's make dinner. And up first, we have a super easy Crockpot salsa chicken. So I had this half like leftover jar of salsa in the fridge that I needed to use up. So I poured a small amount of it on the bottom of the Crockpot, added the chicken breast, and then tried to get as much as I could out of the jar um, on top. And then I always add my own kind of taco seasoning when I make this. So cumin, chili powder, a lot of chili powder ended up coming out. So then I was trying to kind of like spread it around the chicken as much as I could. It worked better in theory. And then you just put that on lower high. I did high for like 3, 4 hours, got that all shredded up. And then this is just like a great make ahead meal, like meal prep for the week, because then you just have salsa chicken. I decided to make a little burrito wrap, just some refried beans and some shredded cheese. But, great for quesadillas, burrito bowls, served it alongside some apples because that's what we had going in, just like the fruit that we had for the week. Super easy, super delicious, made several meals, which is the best part. Next up, we have one of my husband's requests, and this was Zuppa Tuscana soup. In my previous video, I made broccoli cheddar, so in this one, we are doing Zuppa Toscana. I will say it would have been, I think it would have been slightly better had I had like a spicier sausage. This was just like a mild Italian sausage. And I'm not a fan of spicy, but I just, in Zuppa, just gotta, it just has that little kick, and I think that's good. So it was missing that, but other than that, it was great. I tried to remove the casings because I thought you were supposed to, but like it did not work at all. So then I was like, well, I'll just cook them and then try to remove the casings. Yeah, that didn't work either. So it had the casings, but honestly, I didn't even notice. So not really sure what if I did something wrong or not. But once I got the sausages out, then I added a little more. That was just avocado oil spray. You could also do butter, whatever you have. And then I'm just going in with my little spatula and trying to scrape off some of that browned bits. I did chop up half an onion, so we're adding that in there. And my child is super loud this evening, so I'm sure she'll be making some appearances in this audio. And then I got the sausage all chopped up and thrown back in there. I knew it was slightly undercooked at that point, but obviously it was going back in the pot of soup, so no worries about it not getting fully cooked. So I let that go for a bit just to get the onion to kind of caramelize. I also chopped up, normally it's russet potatoes in Zuppa Toscana, but I just had these leftover, like, I don't know, a third of a bag of these like baby type potatoes. So, use what we have. So I used that. I had half a box, I think, of chicken stock. So I was just, again, trying to just use that up. Got that added in, and I knew it wasn't quite enough liquid. So I needed to add more, and then I realized I accidentally used beef broth instead of chicken broth the next time I added broth. But I was like, oh well, it'll still be delicious. So I let that go, and now I think I did about 10-15 minutes at like a decently high temperature, checking to see if the potatoes were fork tender. Not quite. I mean, yes, I could poke it with a fork, but still a decent amount of resistance. So back on goes the lid, and then we let it cook a little bit more. You'll notice it's a lot darker now. That's because I had added that beef stock by accident. Going in with our kale. Honestly, this is the only reason to buy kale, in my opinion, is if you're going to eat it in something delicious like this, because I think it just tastes like grass. And then just like with the broccoli cheddar, this is the other half of the heavy whipping cream. So got 2 meals out of it, both delicious. And I just stir that in a little at a time. I'm not trying to curdle anything since I did have this at a decently high temperature. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't ruin my whole meal at the last second, because that would suck. But then once we get all that stirred in, then we just kind of let it sit for a little bit, just to let the kale soften and the whipping cream to kind of warm through, and then we are ready to serve. So I want to eat it again. I think I'm just such a soup person this time of year. So delicious. Lots of kale, lots of green. And then, of course, I had some extra bacon that I used to make breakfast burritos earlier in the week, and I had some leftover rolls from Thanksgiving, some shredded cheese, and there we go. Just one, delicious, and two, it used up a lot of just stuff I had around the house, which is one of my favorite ways for eating on a budget, is just using what you have. Next up, and this is our last meal in the video, we have unstuffed peppers. One of my favorites. I was talking to my husband. I was like, these are such different size peppers. I'm like, how did they? I'm like, they're not even close to the same size. The yellow one was like significantly larger, but anyways, I got yellow and red here, and I do have a garbage bowl. That's a Rachel Ray hack. I've watched Rachel Ray for a super long time, and that's just one of the things that I saw. And of course, my daughter had to come and look at her little fingers. I'm like, girl, I have like a knife right here. Like, this is not the time. So I gave her a piece of pepper, and then she ran away. So she did not eat the pepper. Are we surprised? No, not really. But she did hold it in her hand for a long period of time. So there we go. I got the yellow one chopped up, and then I got the red one chopped up, and then I don't have an island anymore. They finally took it away with our kitchen renovations, and so you get to just float back and forth on the tripod with me here. Got that to my tried and true Dutch oven, and now we're also going to be going in with half an onion. So I got that prepped and prepared. Of course, saved the other half of the onion for some other dinner that I want an onion for. Got this one chopped up, and then we're going to get that added in the pot too. So yeah, they stole my island. So now my kitchen, it looks really large because the island's not there, but my counter space got diminished to nothing. So that's why we're making dinner here by the coffee pot and the microwave. And then we got the onion, and then this is just, I mean, I just think anything with I love peppers, bell peppers and stuff so much. My husband not so much, but me, yes. And then I think it just smells good. And then we're going in with a pound of ground beef. That was just, pretty sure it's from Costco. I always just I get like the large bulks, and then I just portion it out, throw them in the freezer, and then I pull out a pound whenever I need it. I use my little masher to get it all broken up, let that cook for a bit, and then we're going in with seasoning. So of course, salt, pepper, and then Italian seasoning as well. Those are my usual staples for this dinner. And garlic, because as always, measure with your heart on that one. And then get everyone stirred together before we go in with our tomatoes. So I have a can of Italian style diced tomatoes, and then an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And then to increase the liquid, we're going to also add in some beef broth. But I do like to give that a nice stir just to get an idea. But I do fill up just one of the 8-ounce can of the tomato sauce with beef broth and get that added in, because of course we're going to be adding rice to this. But it already looks really good. And I do just like a nice robust half cup of rice. I feel like a lot of recipes call for like a cup of rice, and I just always feel like the rice ends up overpowering the dish, and I don't like that. So I do a half, but whatever you enjoy the most. I will say it's probably not the prettiest or Instagrammy right meal, but it is hearty, it's delicious. I did top it with a little bit of that like Italian cheese blend that I had on hand. We usually crush some like tortilla chips on top just for a change in texture, but there we go. Thanks so much for watching.